Fans of the Horus Heresy, the arrival of a third stage guild navigator, and getting a really good fit on your Forge World vehicles, thank you very much for joining me for another demonstration video, and it's the latest one in Leakycheese's Guide 2. And I gotta admit, this model here, the Triaros Armoured Conveyor, is a gift that keeps on giving for creating demonstration videos for you guys and girls. Again, thank you for all the nice comments and observations on the previous, what we're on to 3 that I've done. And now it's time for episode 4. And in episode 4, we are going to be dealing with a slightly trickier issue. And as you've gathered from the title, this is to do with getting the kit to fit. This is a Triaros as I have it at the moment. It's not glued together yet, it's just dry fit. I've done the cleanup, and the next stage is, I suppose, probably doing filling. But before I do the filling, I just want to get the fit right. Now, let me show you what I mean by this. So I'm going to take off this thingy. I just forgot what it's called. Let's just call it the choo-choo shed, and take a look at the rear and front of the vehicle. Let's start at the front. So what I need to do here is address this alignment issue. You can see the piping on the side, and we shall get this little chisel. You can see this piping that comes up here and doesn't quite align there. And then if we reverse the vehicle, we see the same thing here, and also the front prow hasn't quite fully lined up. Now I know from the instructions and the demonstration model, or let's say the studio model, it should do. And well, the first thing is, well, have I pushed it all the way forward? And the answer to that is yes. So there's the position at the front, and the position at the rear looks like so. You can see here and here we've got full contact between the upper hull and the track units. Basically what you've got here is an example of a kit that doesn't quite fit together properly as manufactured. Now, before the comments go mad, I know it should fit properly. All kits should properly fit. However, the reality is this is a feature of this model that is baked in, and the casting quality on this is fine. What's happened though, somehow in production, one of the parts has got outsized to the others. And I don't understand exactly how that happened, because everything else lines up well and is sized in the other axes, let's say the X, Y, and Z axis. Everything else seems to line up. It's just this bit here. So the question then is, well, do we just accept this as it is, or do we try to do something about it? And we're going to do something about it, because I'm all about trying to fix things here. And the issue is between this here, so these two notches here and here, and the buttresses here and here where they meet. Let me just show you that again. And these are the only two contact points in play here. So basically what we've got is we've got a little bit too much. We've got about, I don't know, a millimetre or millimetre and a half. No, it's probably just over a millimetre of too much space here. So to fix that, we can either cut some material off here or cut some material off here. Now, which do you do there? Let's have a look at the fit again. Looking at that, I can see that everything lines up pretty well. So I could take the material off either side. Looking at it, the upper hull bit is ever so slightly wider. So I'm going to cut it away from that as opposed to here, because if I cut it away from here, this is slightly wider, so I'll still have to cut down that. So let's go with the approach of cutting away the bottom. To avoid model disintegrations, we shall get the rubber band of temporary wholeness. There we go. So pop that on there like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take about a millimetre off here and a millimetre off here. Let's talk about some tools required to do this. I am going to do this using this sharp scalpel. I think this is probably the best approach. We could also use a razor saw, but because of all this bits here and the shape of that, I'm just be concerned about damaging the detail. And with the razor saw, it slices through resin so easily. You know, I've got quite a lot of experience with this. Even for me, I'll be concerned about slipping and damaging this detail, which I don't want to have to rebuild. So I'm going to take the knife approach. So we've got the sharp scalpel. So it's not a big job, But I guess what I'm hoping to show you is how you can deal with these little imperfections in a model fairly straightforwardly. And with resin models as well, because of the way they're manufactured, they don't have as much precision as a plastic model, because you're making things using masters, production derivatives, and silicon molds as opposed to single piece steel molds. All I'm going to do is going to take the scalpel and I'm going to start cutting into this. And I want to try and get about the right material first time round. If I take a little bit too much off here, it wouldn't be a disaster because I could always fill it back up. So I'm going to start with about that. I think that looks about the right amount. Now, you could measure this, that'd be fine. Me, I'm quite happy to eyeball it and go with that. Just going to cut down a bit here. And then I'm also going to mark up a similar, well, I've just got that sort of amount in my mind's eye. I'm just going to mark it up the same on the other side. So we're keeping it about the same. That's a bit too much, I think, there. I need a little bit less. About there, that'll do. So I think probably now we might have some music while I get the heavy work done here with cutting. As you can see, I'm using a gentle, well, not a gentle, but a firm, but rocking back and forth motion. And that just distributes a force along the blade more efficiently for getting the cut, rather than just level and ping down. That rocking motion will make your work easier. If you think of it like a curved sword or knife blade, in terms of how those work in principle. And there we are, done already. So as you can see, I've cut those two notches out. I think maybe this one needs just a little bit more work. So that's, you can see how it's just pinching in a little bit at the top. Pretty much there, just doing the last little bit. There you go, and I think I'm quite happy with that now. So I've basically relocated the position of those two notches now. We shall now retrieve our hull. And we'll perform our fitting exercise again. Excellent. Excellent. I think this already looks spot on. okay, so see that's almost lined up. And that is lined up, and looking down on it from the top. Yeah, I think we're more or less then. Do we need a little bit more off on the side? I'll line things up now, I think, as best I can, and actually, I think I'm about there. It's a bit difficult to get it exact because of the whole thing being rubber bands and wanting to its own thing. I'm happy with that. Maybe a soup's on a sanding here and there just to get the final perfect fit, which I'm not doing in this video. This is just to show you the basic principle. But yeah, that looks really good. So we've gone from a situation where we had a pretty poor fit at the front in terms of getting these details lined up, looking at the kit and understanding how it works and how the different parts fit together. And we've now gone to a situation where the front end is lined up just as the original sculptor intended. So yeah, there you go. How to deal with a resin kit, in this case it's forge-walled Mechanicum Triaros Armoured Conveyor, that doesn't quite go together right or parts line up, just by taking a bit of material away from the right place to allow it to fit properly. As always, I'd like to hear your thoughts and observations on this model. Please do share those in the reply section. I'm very interested to hear as ever. And as I've said on the previous demonstration videos, if there's anything else you'd like me to do in terms of fitting resin kits together, please do share those ideas as well. I've got another one coming up, which is almost like a part 2 to the washing the resin kit. Someone made a comment about using isopropyl alcohol to remove release agent from resin models. So I've got hold of a bottle of that, and I'm going to get another model. I'm going to try set up a scientific-ish test to see how it compares to the hot soapy water approach that I did in my video earlier this week. Do keep your eye out for that as well. But other than that, I'd just like to say thank you very much for watching. I'll speak to you next time, and goodbye.